And also, I want to promote your YouTube channel, Papa Pete, the old guy gamer. Okay, I'm Nick fucking Gage, and you're watching Papa Pete, MDK all fucking day.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
And we are here. Can you hear me, Jeff?
It's not my hospital tag on.
Well, we wouldn't know what that was. That's okay.
Every time Nick Gage does your intro, I just crack up. It's so funny.
Papa Pete, the old guy gamer. I love it. That made it, right?
Yeah.
That was so freaking incredible. Of course, God and I, we watched that episode together, and I don't know. He found that they had already done the Bret Hart one for me. And he found that one and gave it to me for Father's Day. And it was like perfect, absolutely perfect.
That was perfect.
Hey, Lance, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Nick Gage is the best. He's definitely a character, that's for sure. I don't know if I want to run into him in the dark alley, really.
No, I wouldn't want to mess with him. That's for sure.
No, for sure.
He wrestles like he has nothing to lose.
So I think we both had our own different types of crazy days up till now. So it's just pretty much time to sit back and relax, isn't it, Jeff?
It is. I ate a couple pieces of pizza within like 5 minutes of somewhere between 6:55 and 6:50 and 6:55. I slammed it down. And
hey, Salvador, good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. I come home early from work, and Mama C's starting work out of town, so she's away for a night or two. And so I made beef and broccoli tonight for supper, and it came out really good.
Very nice.
I do it from scratch, even. It's like great. So, but right now I'm going to enjoy. Let's see if I can see it. This is a different one I've never tried before. It's from Trailway in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and it's called Threads. As you can tell from very interesting. But before I can open it, I've got clawing at my chair.
No, Coco.
Here she is. Oh. Put her in her basket. You'll hear her purr.
Coco's grown to fit the size of the basket. Kind of like how fish grow to fit the size of their tank.
Oh my God. Yeah. There it is right there.
Oh.
Hello, Coco. So, guys, we're going to talk tonight. Who's there? Oh, Junebug's there. Hi, Junebug. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. We might have another special guest sometime during the stream tonight. We'll see if they pop in. But Jeff and Celia went and saw a pretty special pay-per-view that we've been talking about off and on all summer, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's the NWA. It was a Saturday night, and it was the NWA Empowerrr matchup, and it was an all-woman pay-per-view. I believe it's the first time ever. So it was pretty interesting. It was, I think, from 7 to 9, basically. So it was a couple hours. Plus, they did two matches before the show started. We got there just before that, so I'm glad I didn't know they were going to do that, so I'm glad we didn't miss those first two matches.
So you saw two matches before?
There was two matches before the show even started.
I was lucky enough. I went on the next day. I didn't get the pay-per-view. I was tied up Saturday night. I went on YouTube the next day. I thought I'll check to see what happened, so I'd have a little bit of a heads up about today. And the whole freaking thing is on YouTube and still there, I think.
It was as of yesterday. It was still there, and even the men's was on a different channel. I found that
right because
I don't know if that's still up or not, but
yeah, NWA 73, which was Sunday night, correct?
Yeah, the paper, and there's actually another match or another card tonight.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry. There was one yesterday and one tonight. There's not
Chase.
The same place, Chase Park Plaza. It's not on TV, no pay-per-view. They're going to air it at another time.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
There's 4 in a row. Just the Chase Park Plaza is like a really nice hotel. I think it's a 4-star hotel.
Right.
Here in town. It's just beautiful inside. They have a bunch of ballrooms, and Wrestling at the Chase was a local wrestling show here in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. It was around a long time.
Yep.
And then before WWF killed them off.
Now, I heard them say first one in 37 years in the place. That's the number they threw around, I believe, right?
It ended in 84. That was the end of Wrestling at the Chase.
Here's our special guest who was also sitting in the second row. Hey, how you doing?
Can't hear you.
Oh, do I have her muted? Nope, she's not muted. It's got to be your mic.
You're not muted. Is it your headset?
Ah. We'll get it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. We can hear you now. Let's be Verizon. Right on. See, and I'm Canadian and I know Verizon. Like, can you hear me now?
This is what I deal with at work too. It's hard to be professional when I'm like, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, right on. Everything over the phone nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about the Chase Park hotel room and the history there and what it's like. Because it's not really a sports venue then, Jeff? Like,
no, not at all.
Not at all.
It's a 4-star hotel with ballrooms, and in the same building is actually the Chase Park Plaza Theater, which is a very small theater. I believe it's one screen, and they show like indie films, the artsy fartsy type stuff.
Yeah,
you're not going to see Star Wars there. It's the really small independent stuff.
It's actually the only times I've ever been there is for like for charity events like dinners and fashion shows, things like that.
But one of the ballrooms is the Coruscant room, and that's where they've been filming. That's where they filmed Wrestling at Chase all the way from the 50s to the 80s, and so they had it in that same room. And when I first heard this was coming to the Chase, I was like, I've got to go. I mean, I spent my childhood watching Wrestling at the Chase on Sundays. This is a chance to actually do another one right in the same.
That's too cool. So at NWA just right up. So how there's a theater and there's ballrooms. There's multiple ballrooms there too. I'm just looking at the picture. I'm going to try to bring it up on the screen. There it is. It's a friggin' massive building. Just around here, see if I can do it.
It is a beautiful building. Is there a restaurant in there too, Celia?
You know what? I don't remember.
Is the Fox and the Hound in there, or is that a separate building?
No, that's a separate.
Okay.
I believe that's separate. I could be wrong. You know what? Every time I've been to Fox and the Hound, I've been inebriated. So
is that whole thing the Chase Park Plaza?
It includes a parking garage as well.
But I'm looking at this big tall building. Like
I don't know what that.
No, not that one.
It's just only a brick building.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that's like a hotel, and there's also like housing, not housing. But
yeah, they do. They have it's a hotel, but they also have a residential area, so you can actually live there, like a luxury apartment, basically.
I'm looking at some of those buildings up on the roof, like they're maybe the penthouses and stuff, right?
Could be.
Probably.
I've never made my way all the way up there.
I believe there's a pool. There's a pool that's really nice. I've never been to, but a lot of my friends have been to that.
And this was a regular wrestling show for like 30, 40 years. Nothing. And then NWA went back in and said, okay, let's do this because this is historic. And St. Louis really is a historic wrestling city, isn't it?
And mainly because of Sam Muchnick. It was his deal. He ran that territory, and it's really weird. They had, when he retired, I think it was in the early 80s, they had a Sam Muchnick Day here in St. Louis, and a bunch of wrestlers came and gave like testimonials, and everybody loves the guy. And I'm like, that's pretty interesting because and what they loved about him is that if they never really signed anything, when he told you were going to would wrestle here for this much, he just did it. He never went back on his word. So the wrestlers loved.
Wow.
Yeah, they loved coming here because of that, because it was an easy deal for them. They didn't have to have any kind of hassles.
And if they got to stay in that place, it was a pretty posh spot to be too, right?
My mom just said that she had her high school prom at the top of the Chase. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. I gotta get back to get the chat back up on my screen. I'm missing it. There it is. That's pretty cool at the top of the Chase. So I'm looking at that picture. I just want to see if I can bring it up one more time here because maybe I lost it. There it is. I'm looking at this picture, and now I don't know the area there at all, but is St. Louis really flat? Because that looks really flat.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty flat. I mean,
You know what
this
I
is
mean?
actually this part of town is Clayton,
Okay.
which is kind of it's a nice area. It's I'm not sure which way it's looking, but like the downtown area is further east.
Yeah.
Because that goes, right up against the river. And then as you go further west, you hit Clayton, and then you end up hitting the suburbs after that.
Okay. That picture just looks so cool from that aerial view, and then it rolls off with all the trees, because that is right in the middle of the city, correct?
In the middle of Clayton.
Middle of Clayton. Okay.
Yeah.
Not part of the city, part of the county.
They say
But
about
it's right. It's adjacent to Forest Park, which is one of the. It's a big. I don't know.
I think it's the biggest or second biggest park in the country.
Wow.
I think it's second to Times, or to the one in New York. Drawing a blank now.
They say here in New Brunswick that you're either going uphill or you're going downhill. There's never anything in between unless you're going sideways on a hill. But because it's just rough terrain. I don't know. There's something about that picture that looks so cool to me. Anyway, that's where it was, and man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What was? Did you just say when was the last time you had been there?
I don't know if I've ever been there, to be honest. I can't think of one because I never went to the wrestling show, and I never. Unless we went for a wedding or something, I don't ever recall.
The last time I was there was a charity auction for it was a fashion show for
that's pretty cool.
Cardinal Glennon Children's Guild. So it was a children's hospital. My friends.
So tell me about the show. How was the crowd? Like, it's because I watched the pre-show and it seemed like the crowd filtered in kind of late, but it filled right up.
Yeah, it. Well, they started wrestling at 6:40. The show started at 7. So when you watch the pregame, there's like nobody. The pre-show, it looks like it's like half empty, and it was because people were still trying to get in.
Gotcha.
But by the time it opened up, or a few minutes after, it was sold out.
It seemed like throughout the whole thing that everybody's right into it.
Oh, the crowd was.
Oh yeah, they were chanting throughout. It was great. I loved it.
Did you have a really good time? That looked like so much fun. So what did you think, Celia, when you? I mean, did you like wrestling?
I you know what? I've watched it like Jeff on Sundays. Our family would watch it, and I never got to go because it's not ladylike. So my parents would never take me, and I would never be allowed to go. And so it was neat to go there. What I loved about it is it was crowded, but I don't like when people are on top of you. Yeah, like I get to be high maintenance in that sense. So I liked where it wasn't like there was enough room. I felt like there was enough room.
There was enough room in between the people in the rows and stuff that you actually weren't shoulder to shoulder all the time.
For me, but Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Yeah. We were sitting there and there was 3 spaces wide open to my left. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And then a little before 7, 2 guys showed up. So I still had the 1 space.
Yeah.
Perfect. It gets to be just a little after 7. And I'm like, I might get away with it. And then I see walking down the aisle, the largest guy in the entire room. Right next to me.
Beautiful.
So I'm like, what?
but then
I'm big enough without having him sit there.
But he got up for a little bit. I told him he got up for a little bit. He went to go get snacks and everything to get food. So he wasn't there for a while.
All that did was just make him bigger.
That's the way it always works. I always think the same thing when we go to the races and stuff, right? Because there are benches in New Hampshire, and it's like, hey, hopefully we get nobody beside us. We get like almost a whole row. And the best, then as you sit there for a while and your coolers are under your seat between your legs, stuff like that, then people come in and you cram all in. And you're always hoping that somebody get upset and leave. And it's amazing though at those events how many people leave early. Halfway through, they up and go to beat the traffic. Well, why'd you come?
Oh yeah,
that is. I know that's a St. Louis tradition here, man.
Is that right? I think it's great because we're camping, we're there till the next day type thing, drinking beer. So usually about halfway through the race, you can almost lay down or sprawl out on the benches. It's beautiful, but.
Well, even this, as soon as the final match, as soon as the last person was pinned, a whole bunch of people just like bolted.
Really?
That's really funny because it's not like, I mean, we don't have that. I mean, yeah, you'll have like, I mean, we hung around for a little bit, and then when we left, it took us, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to go to the parking lot, and then we were fine. But it's not like St. Louis is this huge, sprawling town where it's like, you know, like Lance talks about rush hour that starts at 11 a.m. for LA. Something like that. It's I don't know. It's just weird. People love to get out early.
But I felt like people stayed till the end.
They stayed to the very end. It was funny as soon as that last one, because there was like a little celebration thing. We stayed and watched that, but a lot of people were just bolting. Someone asked, who was that? How many people? Oh, Salvatore. I don't know. What do you think? Like 500, Celia? You think?
I want to say easily 500.
Yeah, maybe more. Because it's a ballroom. It's a very small area. You know, it's basically like a huge wedding reception, minus the food.
But you hear more that way too. You hear the wrestlers, you hear the comments, you hear everything.
Yes.
We heard you could hear every single thing they said, even when they weren't yelling.
That is
except for the one gal, she kept yapping. Like it was too high pitched. I couldn't hear her. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't
the
know.
one with the gal with the crown, the one that you liked, the one you thought was funny.
The crown.
When we go through, maybe we'll get a picture of her. You let me know when you want to show some of your pictures or whatever.
Oh, it doesn't look like they're on. I don't have them on my hard drive. They're on Google Drive, so it looks like it's still trying to load some. So I don't have a ton, but I do have something up right now.
Show that one.
Yeah, go ahead. And unfortunately, not in.
So
that's Red Velvet.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I was going to ask you, and did you have something to say specifically about her right now? Because I was thinking about where are we going here?
Well, she wrestled twice, and she's from AEW. And that's the interesting thing about this match. There's like AEW, AAA, and NWA, and then
and Impact probably.
Yeah, Impact, and because there was an Impact championship.
It was so cool to have all those people in it. Lance had a question.
He had a beer, but I think it was a light beer.
A light beer. He didn't have a Threads from Trailways?
I don't know. No.
Probably not. He probably hadn't left New Brunswick to go get one. All right, so let's get back to this. I'm going to let's just. Oh, all right. I'm just going to slide that out for the time being. So, who were in the first matches? Now, who were you said there were two pre-matches. I have one here for the first one, and where the blazes did it go?
Yeah, I'm looking on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
they have it. I think they have it wrong. I think it was Sky Blue versus Christy Janes was the first match.
That right there is what I saw. This is Christy Janes on top of Sky Blue. And was Sky Blue from St. Louis?
No. I'm not sure.
I don't know why I got that impression somehow. I know there was one girl who wrestled who was from St. Louis.
In that 10-woman matchup.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of her, but Sky Blue I've seen several times on YouTube.
Okay.
I think there's a channel called Title Match, and they show a bunch of independent wrestlers.
Okay.
And I've seen her several times, so she goes around the country.
Well, that's pretty cool. That was a good match for a pre-show.
She's a pretty good wrestler. I think she might hook up with like AEW or something at some point.
And but there I don't have pictures of any other matches. Well, for this one here, it was a good match. It's available. The NWA pre-show is on YouTube as well. Empowerrr pre-show, but it only shows one match, and that's this one: Christy James versus.
Because after that was, I did find a list of all the.
I think that, you know what? When they introduced her, they said you're our very own, and then they said her name, and I think that's why I thought that I questioned too. I'm like, where is she from? Is she from here? But
the Lexi Blue. Yeah, that's what I heard. I think Celia.
Let's see. Yeah, the second match was Paula Blaze with Taryn Terrell.
Yeah, and that is not Taryn Terrell. And that one, because you could show that picture now, or do you have a picture of them afterwards?
I'm looking.
You're looking.
I'm trying to go through all these pictures. Unfortunately, I don't. For some reason, so you only have like a few. We had like 150 pictures, and
only a few got.
Anyway, the second one was what's her name? Paolo Blaze or Paolo Blaze. Paolo Blaze.
Paolo Blaze
versus.
Who was that?
Is this it?
Kenzie Page.
Kenzie Page. Is this it that I'm going to show? There it is. No, that's later on.
This is not the match. This is later on when Gail Kim comes out to talk.
Yeah. I've got some pictures of that too. So, but that's Paolo Blaze. She fought the second match.
She fought the second match. We don't have any
clips of that. But it's funny, because that was not on the YouTube channel for the
interesting.
Yeah, it was not shown. It started right off after that. It went right into the regular matches.
Paula Blaze, it said defeated Kenzie Page.
Okay.
And
what's her story again? You've seen her on
90 Days.
90 Day Fiance. It's a reality show where they follow couples who have known each other, but it's an American and then a foreigner.
Okay.
And so they've decided to get married, and they bring their fiance over here on a fiance visa, which means once they get here, if they don't get married in 90 days, then that person has to leave because they want to make sure, I guess, they don't just come and just hang out here all the time. So on season 1, Paola and her fiance Russ got married, and that was several years ago, like 7-8 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Oh my God!
I heard a few months ago that she was starting to wrestle. And it was really weird because on the show she's always been trying to get into modeling. So I heard she was wrestling. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." But when this match started, she came out. I saw her. I said, "Look, that's Pal from 90 Day Fiance." It's like, what? I had no idea she was going to be there.
Wow, that's something else.
But she fought in that second match pre-show, and then this we were looking at. Gail Kim came out to talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I remember. Yeah.
So this is not Taryn Terrell.
That's Taryn Terrell there at the blue.
Okay.
Gail Kim back too.
Yeah. So she came out with Paula in the first match.
Okay.
Does she wrestle anymore? Because she didn't wrestle at all.
She didn't, because she came out with the other one, who we'll show here in a few minutes in the final match. Right? She just came out ringside.
Yeah. She didn't wrestle. And I think this is Genocide, way off. You just hear elbow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But she's, I think, fairly well known in the.
That is so pretty cool. So, what was it like? I don't know if did I show this yet? There you guys are. That's the only screen capture I can get. You guys in the second row. I was sort of looking at the wrong spot when I was watching it too, but the Go Game Go shirt was clear. And Celia, you had the red one on, but you had a jacket on.
Yes, I did. I had to be fashionable somehow.
Well, this is true. Of course.
So
I can't just show up in a t-shirt.
So the main camera, was looking down, and we were to the left of the main camera.
Okay. Yeah, I can picture where you were now in my mind, but I was sort of trying to look in the wrong spot when the camera went around. If I had to look better, I might have caught you again.
It's even hard for us.
What was the pop like for this when Mickie came out?
Oh, they were going nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they loves her.
I didn't realize the help that she had in doing this, which they showed towards the end, but who was all there? Let's see, it was Mickie. Well, Gail Kim was involved as well. I don't know if Kong was, but Jazz was out there at the very end. I got a picture of Jazz at the very end.
And I can never think of his name, but the lead singer for Smashing Pumpkins,
Billy Corgan.
Billy, yeah, he was there.
He is the owner of.
Yeah, he owns
the NWA.
Yep.
What's he go by? William Patrick Corgan now, or something like that, or that's what his official wrestling name is. It's kind of interesting, really. But I love Mickie James. She's done a great job ever since she was, come up in WWE, and it was fantastic.
She mentioned something about her dad taking her to Wrestling the Chase, and I looked it up, and I couldn't find anything that said that she lived in St. Louis.
That's odd. You just don't know, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened. Maybe she had relatives here that she would.
Maybe. Oh. I'll let you work on that. So there's the first match, and it started right off with this one. And I got to tell you, okay, you got AAA, AEW, and NWA. And I thought these guys did a friggin' awesome match. What do you remember about this one?
Well, I remember Kylie Ray the most. Because she's kind of like an early Bailey in the NXT, which was all
Ray,
happy and bubbly. That's her whole shtick here. She'd run around, she'd be all happy, and she like runs and slides on the mat, and she enters, and then she flips around and kind of does a little pose, like one of these things. And
the ultimate face, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When she slid in, she sort of looks like when you're watching at the Disney World or SeaWorld. And then you see Shamu, or no, it's the sea lions when they slide in like that. That's what she looked like. I'm like,
yeah, she had her arms to her side. It's kind of funny looking. But when Chick Tormenta, is that her name, came in, the crazy looking one, she came in and
Chick Tormenta.
And Kylie was like all like looking like she's scared, but then she went up to her and put her hand out like she wanted to shake her hand, and that woman just stared at her.
she was like, she pulled back real quick, like she was scared.
But one thing that I get out of this right off the get-go, like when I watched the very first, because this was the first match that I saw, because I found the actual pay-per-view first. This was the actual first match of the pay-per-view. Is they friggin' worked their asses off, didn't they? They weren't crystal clean. They weren't. Their moves weren't perfect. But they were friggin' trying to do them. And
I'll tell you what,
bad.
I think they're athletes. I mean, I was looking at them, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as like a pay-per-view, I mean, if you compare this to like WWE, I mean, WWE, the production values is just, out of the world. This was just, it was very small.
Yep.
And the wrestling, for the most part, like you said, it's probably not to the level of WWE, but it was good. It was entertaining. It was fun to watch. There was a move in that match that you just showed with Kylie Ray and Chick Tormenta, and I can't remember the other woman. It was some strange move. What was it? Two of them were kind of locked up, and one of them went up and like kicked the leg out of one, and they both fell down.
Their shoulders were on the ground.
They both fell down. Their shoulders were on the ground. Their legs were in the air, and the other woman, she went on top of it. And she tried pinning them both.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was pretty neat.
It was great.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. It was.
I didn't remember it either. I do know what you saw. I was like, it's so weird because you're saying about it doesn't have the production value. Oh, if that's what you want to watch, is everybody loves the fireworks and the lights and stuff. Yeah. The production value is great. But when it comes right down to friggin' wrestling, they put more effort and they're not friggin'. My God, you think, how do these people go out and do this every night and not kill themselves? To me, because sometimes they do this and that, you just go, oh, that had to hurt. Doesn't matter if they were supposed to try to do it a certain way. It had to hurt. I used to love going and watching wrestling here locally. There was a thing in it called XWA, which was just New Brunswick, but there was every single one of them put 100% into the wrestling. They lived the gimmick. They went out and did their day job through the week, and on weekends they went and they wrestled 2 or 3 different places on the weekend. And they were just guys, and some of them were really into it, the ones who organized the stuff. And, you know, no friggin' flair, no production, but it's kind of like this, but they were just so friggin' pumped and wanted to put on the best show possible. I think that really came out in these girls that I watched. That's what I saw, is they really wanted to entertain.
Well,
what did it feel like being right there? Like, did you see the same thing? I saw this watching it on YouTube, right?
You could tell just because I think a lot of them, like the woman from 90 Day Fiance, I mean, she's just starting out. And even though some of these women have been around for a few years, you know, some have been for much shorter time, but they're still not, you know, they haven't hit the big time. They're getting more popular. I mean, they made it to this event.
Yeah.
So this, for a lot of them, this was their big shot, man. This is their chance to be seen by everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they were really all out. They were giving it everything they had, because you never know. They may never get a shot like that again.
Yeah. Who won that match? Kylie Ray? I can't remember off top.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I can tell
right.
you.
I think it was the other gal. The
It was.
Diamante.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
It kind of made sense because she is the larger promotion name, being from AEW. And, you know, we might see that, I think, as it goes through, because it's really amazing to see, like we said a few minutes ago, to see AAA, NWA, AEW, and Impact putting all these people together and working together in this, because really it's just promoting all 4 of them, right?
You almost, when you think about it, it's like, why not do that? Because, you know, they're up against, you know, WWE, even though they've fallen somewhat. They're still number 1.
Yeah.
So why not combine forces? You know,
for sure. Man, it worked
put people around.
So the AEW person won, being what I would consider the biggest. The biggest. What am I looking for? What's the term I'm looking for?
The most well-known, biggest
draw.
Promotion, the biggest promotion, the biggest group. You know, AEW. It's kind of hard to say. Okay, yeah, I can remember, and we'll see this later on too. I think another one I got thinking the same thing. What it reminded me of is if you ever watched the movie Beyond the Mat, Barry Blaustein's, and they talk about Terry Funk back then, and Terry Funk was having his farewell match at his home ranch, his home arena, with like a 500-person card, and Bret Hart was coming to town to wrestle Terry Funk in his farewell retirement match, and Bret Hart pinned him. And they said to Terry Funk afterwards, they said, "Well, it's your farewell match. Why'd you let Bret Hart pin you?" He says, "It wouldn't make any sense for an old guy like me who's going out to lose to the world champion." So, you know, there's a lot to be said for why AEW would come out on top of matches like this. You know what I mean? So maybe that's part of the deal.
Yeah, Terry Funk, I think, is well known as like one of the best wrestlers around, as far as, you know, as being a worker, making sure people get over when he losing when he needs to, you know, stuff like that. I've never heard the same for his brother though.
Dory.
Yeah. I've heard just the opposite about him, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's look at this. The second one. This was quite the match too, wasn't it? The Hex versus Hell on Heels.
I am trying to. I think I might have some pictures here.
Are mine still downloading for you? Is that what's going on?
No, I refreshed and.
Do you want my phone? I'll bring it to you. Which one? And I'm gonna express my ignorance here. Which is the Hex and which is Hell on Heel?
The Hex is on the left.
Okay.
Now, Pete, have you heard of either of these tag teams?
I had not heard of either one. I had not heard of any of the wrestlers. They named them. I can't even tell you their names right now, but they said it quite clearly throughout the match. But I thought they did a great job.
The Hex is Allison Kay and Marty Bell.
Marty Bell,
Hell on Heels. It's a great name, by the way. Is Renee Michelle and Sahara 7. I've never heard of any of them. That's kind of like I was for most of these matches, to be honest. I haven't heard of a lot of these wrestlers.
Is that a picture of you? You let me know when you get a picture up. I'll pop it up.
Hell on Heel had the best uniform, though.
Did they?
It was, you know what? It was glamorous.
There you go. Yeah.
I just love it. And someone had awesome. Jeff got a little angry with me because someone had just the most amazing shoes. And I was like, and he's like, really? Is that all you're going to look at are the shoes? I'm like, no, but did you see them? It was all
you got to like something, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Hey, Pete, can you put up that picture of the tag team?
Yep. Here it is right here. The Hex versus Hell on Heel.
I'm just going through our pictures here.
Right on.
And the Hex, poor lady, her hair was just messed up throughout the whole thing. It was not good.
What, the Marty Bell?
The one that's
second from the left?
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It looked like a big serpent coming out of her hair. You know, like I was like, oh, that's wrong. And then there was another one. I think I got a picture of it. Her false eyelashes were coming out, and I was like, oh poor gal. But they looked amazing.
I watched Charlotte Flair matches.
I don't know if we have. I'm looking here. I don't see a picture
of which one?
Of this tag team match.
Oh, it's in there. I took one.
We'll just say the Hex went on and won anyway, but it was not a match where you like. It certainly wasn't any domination. It was really well done. Yeah, for sure. So let's see. After that one, did they go right into the next tag team? Yes, they did.
Yeah,
and I know you have some pictures of that because you've had some up, right?
Red Velvet and Keelan King versus the Free Babes, and he said all three of these women. Well, only two of them wrestled. They said all three of them were second generation wrestlers, but the only one I recognize the name is Miranda Gordy, Terry Gordy's daughter.
Terry Gordy's granddaughter.
Oh,
granddaughter is what they said on the pay-per-view. Whew. Yeah. I know you had a couple of pictures of these guys. Because Red Velvet and Kylan King, they put on quite a show, actually. I mean, these guys did well, but is that one up there now?
Yep. That's one from the match.
Turn that one off. Here we go.
And Red Velvet's one of the, at least for me, she's one of the most well-known wrestlers here because I've seen her wrestle in AEW.
Okay. Yep.
And I love how close we were. It's crazy.
Right there, eh?
Now, when I switch this, are you seeing the changing here?
I am. So if you just there you go. I have seen a quick change. That's no big deal if it's that quick.
I just want to make sure I don't have to redo this. And that's a bad picture, but at some point, Red Velvet got tossed to the ground, and she was right in front of us.
Oh, cool! Right there.
And that's I think that's Kylan, because she was Red Velvet's partner.
Oh, okay.
And they won. Red Velvet and her won.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting though. This must have been right after it ended. What's her name? Kylan
King.
She is the one who pinned one of the Free Babes. Red Velvet was out on the ground still.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was kind of interesting because I thought Red Velvet, since she's probably the biggest star out of this group, that maybe she would. She didn't even really factor in at the very end because she was laying on the ground.
Okay, let's go.
And what was? Let's see.
Hopefully, the productions like Empowerrr continue to work and not collapse like Pro Wrestling USA. The different promoters couldn't get along.
This next one was an interesting match.
Very true, Lance. So true. The next one? All right, let's see.
Next match.
We'll slide that back. And we'll go back to
what? Well, actually, I think between is when Gail Kim came out.
Oh, was it?
Because that's next in our pictures.
Well, there you go. So that was right here. So you have Gail King with say her name again, Taryn Terrell.
Yeah. I'm not trying to pronounce
she was in WWE, right? I can't remember what she was. She's changed names a couple times. This is not her original name.
I don't know. She was really good. I mean, she wasn't wrestling, but obviously she's been doing this for several years because she really could talk a lot. I'll tell you that.
I found her kind of annoying, which I think is the whole point, right?
Oh yeah, she was definitely annoying because her voice is very high and she was kind of screeching out the whole night, but she knew what she was doing. All right, here's another picture. This is one Celia took.
There we go. Oh, it's a good picture. Good
Now,
picture of,
all these wrestlers came out, but they didn't wrestle because Gail Kim was giving a little speech, and then whoop, I guess that's all I have for that. She was giving a speech, and these other wrestlers, Powell Blaze, the Taryn Terrell, and it looks like Genocide over here.
right.
They came out to stir up some trouble. Like I said,
It's almost like a stable, right?
Yeah. And then that's when they looked like they were going to, just all gang up on Gail Kim, and then Kong came out.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Yeah.
There's Kong right there.
She took care of them all.
She just tossed them like they were nothing. I thought it was amazing.
Now, Celia, I got to ask you this because this is a show that Mama C and I, we both love the show. And I was telling her about this a long time ago. But do you remember Awesome Kong from anything other than wrestling? Or did you even hear Awesome Kong before?
No. Honestly, no.
I hadn't either, Pete. I didn't know who she was.
Well, she was big in TNA when it was TNA Impact Wrestling now. She came over and she did WWE briefly because she was just a dominant person, and they said she'd come in and clean up anybody in WWE. But she retired really quickly. She quit because she got pregnant. But anyway, she was one of the stars in the Netflix show Glow. Did you know that? I don't know if you know the show or not. It's a fantastic show. It's been canceled now, but I've lost you.
No, I had Christian coming to get Perry's in here going crazy, and I'm like, I texted him. I said, "Get Perry out of here."
Oh, now she's out here.
Perry's allowed to bark. But did you know that she was in Glow? Awesome Kong?
I've never even seen Glow, so no, I didn't.
Well, if you got Netflix, it's a fantastic show. It's a crying shame that they took it off the air. They canceled it during COVID after the third season.
Now,
but wonderful show, great show.
I know it's women's wrestling, but is it a reality show or is it staged?
Oh no!
It's scripted.
It's scripted. It's based upon a real story. It's not the absolute truth or absolute story of how Glow Wrestling came to be. Some of the characters are fictionalized from what it was, but overall, it tries to capture the nature of it, and it ended up being an absolutely excellent. It's not really a comedy; it's more of a drama with funny aspects to it. And I don't know if anybody in the chat. I think Lance told me one time he's watched it. Fantastic show. Crying shame that they canceled it during COVID. Crying shame. Although the first two seasons, the third season went downhill compared to the 1 and 2, so maybe they just didn't have any place for it to go. But Awesome Kong, can't remember her real name, played the welfare mama in Glow. It was really something else. She did a great job.
Mama.
So she's expanded from wrestling. She can retire from wrestling like she did here. And I had one more picture out of that group. Where's that one? Right here. Oh yeah. So after the fact, what were you expecting when she did this?
Well, since I don't know these people, I was thinking of they really going to mix it up here.
Yeah.
But what happened was the three other wrestlers, left because Kong scared them out, and then Gail Kim ran up to the ropes. She was still in the ring, not on the end there, and she kind of kicked the rope and she was yelling at him, and then Kong came right up to the rope right behind her.
Yes.
I mean, she was like 6 inches from her, and then Kim turns and sees her and kind of like goes back.
Yeah.
she's like, whoa. And then I was like, I'm like, how is this going to go down? Because, I mean, she's in heels and she's about 100 pounds and Kong could destroy her in a heartbeat. So I was like, I can't imagine they're going to do that, but I know what was going to happen. And then Kong had her come back in the ring. She looked like she wanted to kill her. But then she took the mic and she gave this real impassioned speech about how much she loves Gail Kim, and she was like a hero to her, and
they had quite a storied history in TNA. Gail Kim is no slouch. She is, believe me, she's one of the best female wrestlers ever. Had some history with WWE. Won the championship at WWE. Had a huge history, and even more so in TNA. And these were the two big rivals right here. These were the rivals: Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong. And so this is the point where Awesome Kong is quote unquote retiring. So that is why they did it the way they did it, right?
No. Did you watch that part?
Close the story.
Did you watch that?
I watched that on Sunday. I watched that part of the pay-per-view, yes.
Did she say she was retiring? Because when we were there, I didn't hear that. I must have just missed it, I guess. I don't know.
I tell you, I got a lot out of other articles talking about it as well. So she's retiring in wrestling. She could be back next week. Who knows? Retiring in wrestling works like
That's
that.
True.
But,
wrestling doesn't mean much.
But for all intents and purposes, she's going to act or she's going to do something else. She's got a family now, and she's not going to be able to stand the wear and tear in her body very long either. She's probably getting out while the getting's good, But could she come back? Of course she's going to come back. She's going to make. She didn't leave on good terms with WWE though either. So I don't know. Like that's where the big money is to come back for little short stints. She certainly could, but anyway. And Gail Kim is Canadian, so yeah. Gail Kim is a Canadian wrestler as well. She's big. She came in around the tail end of Trish Stratus going out. So two of the top Canadian female wrestlers ever, right there, Gail Kim. Yeah. Pretty cool. So what came after that one? I don't even know what came after that one. Was it must have been
this was
this one?
Deanna Peraza versus Melina.
And what was that like?
Well, I do have a picture up. I think I have a couple of pictures of this.
Okay, good. I'm gonna get this one out of here.
So what's the other? Peraza. So she showed up. She's got 2 belts here.
Well, she is the Impact champion.
And what was interesting watching this is I did watch it again afterwards, and I saw it a little bit differently than when I was watching it live for some reason. When we were watching it live, I didn't notice her like knee hurting.
Oh, Melina's.
Yeah. So when we were watching it, I don't know how I missed it. I'm going through sure there's any good shots of this match. So far, I haven't seen it. Oh, there's a good shot. Look at that.
Good shot. Yeah.
But Peraza did the thing where she throws Melina against the ropes. As Melina bounced off and took a step, her leg buckled. And she fell down, and I was telling Celia, I was like, I don't know if that's fake. I said, I think that might be real.
It was hard to tell.
Huh?
It was hard to tell, wasn't it?
And so the rest of the match, she was really hurting. And I was like, I don't know. I said, I can't. And at one point, the ref actually, Peraza was trying to get at her. She kept going after the knee. And at some point, the ref pushed her away and then whispered into her ear.
Okay.
Because we were right there and we couldn't hear that. We could hear any other thing, but she was whispering in her ear. And then I was like, maybe she's telling her she really is hurt. I don't know. But when she stood up, she couldn't stand. I mean, I don't know if she's faking that or not. But then it ended in a submission hold where she was like cranking her leg way back.
Yeah.
I will say this. When the show ended, all the wrestlers came back out. Yeah. And when she came out, someone was helping her.
Yes, that's right.
So
I remember that too, and took note of it because usually, even though they hurt, they hobble out, right?
Yeah, and this was after the show was over, and someone was still helping her.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that's really taking it pretty far, because I don't think anyone's really paying attention at that point.
That this is another point though as well that, like I was mentioning earlier, you have a champion in one of the promotions like Impact, right? Oh, that's Pitcher Medusa. That's pretty cool. You have a champion in one of these promotions. They're not going to let their champion go into one of these smaller events and lose their championship, right? So, which can't blame them, but that's how they have to work together, right?
It's kind of interesting. We were really close to. We were maybe 6 seats away from the broadcast area.
Okay, yeah.
But it was so interesting. We couldn't hear a word they said.
Really?
Like, I thought I'd be able to pick up and hear what they're saying, but I couldn't hear anything they said, which I thought was really weird. I guess we were just far enough away. I guess they were speaking fairly softly because they got the mics. I don't know.
Yeah, and we were so
Very
close that
strange.
we could see that screen there. I could see everything that was on that screen.
Really? That
Yeah.
is so strange because, you could tell how close you are, but
Before
they certainly
her,
didn't seem to be talking quietly on TV.
no, that was a weird thing. It's like, why couldn't we hear them? Before her, they started off with who was it? Austin Idol.
Yes.
Sitting there.
Yeah. I don't know who those two guys were. It's Velvet Sky was doing the announcing through the whole thing. She's a good wrestler for TNA Impact way back in the
And
day.
I guess the other one's just an NWA announcer, the guy.
Okay.
I was thinking, and I didn't realize that the announcer for Wrestling at Chase, my entire life growing up watching it, was Larry Matisick.
Okay.
And I didn't realize he died 3 years ago.
Oh.
I was really hoping they would like bring him out or something, because the crowd would have gone crazy because everyone loves Larry Matisick. I didn't realize he had died though. I wish they would have done something for him, because he's a big part of wrestling in St. Louis. I mean, he was the voice of wrestling for like 20 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. It would have been nice to have a little tribute, even if they did a pre-show before the pay-per-view started,
I
right?
guarantee everyone would have flipped out over that, because he was.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He was really liked. He was well loved.
So what else do I have for matches? I don't know. Like, then it wasn't the next match after that, the tag team match, the tag team title match.
Okay, so the first 2 tag teams were semifinals, and then the 2 winners, the Hex and Red Velvet and Kylan King, came out to wrestle a second time.
Now, do you have any pictures of that? Because I don't, of course, there's no even card for that.
I always think it's interesting when wrestlers wrestle more than once in a.
That was a neat picture right there. You just went by too. Oh, any of them with Medusa in there. Medusa she's got quite a character. She's a character. WWE Hall of Fame. She's been in with the WWE, been out with the WWE, and I don't know. She's interesting.
And look, see the woman behind her. It says, you can read like Tootie. That's the that's the name. Tootie, can't remember her name, but that's the girl from St. Louis.
Right.
I assume these are family members, because I mean, living here, I don't even know who she is. I've never heard her name before.
That they said that on the pay-per-view. If you missed that part, when she came out, they showed the 3 family members there screaming and hollering for her.
I didn't rewatch all the pay-per-view. I was just watching like the first part of it.
Sure.
Okay, so here you go. Here's Red Velvet and Kylan King back.
Yep.
I don't know how many of these we have.
Against the Hex. Marty Bell. I can't remember the other girl's name, but Marty Bell, for whatever, they said her name 5,000 times during that match.
The Hex is Allison Kay.
Allison Kay.
And Marty Bell.
So all of their second match of the night.
So is the Hex, are they NWA?
I don't know. I think they're all NWA. I'm not sure on that, but
now I see Red Velvet on AEW a lot, but that doesn't mean she's part of it.
No, it could be one-offs. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she's wrestled there several times. But it's possible, from what I've gathered, you don't necessarily just, if you're wrestling several times, that doesn't mean you're under contract. That just means you're showing up for, I guess it's almost like auditions. Wrestle a few times, we'll see if we want to sign you.
Yep.
So the Hex won this match, and I was kind of surprised because Red Velvet was the big name, at least for me, and I was kind of surprised she didn't win.
I was, yeah. The Hex won that? Yeah. I was thinking it was Kyle and King, but you're right, it's the Hex.
And this was our view several times that night.
Oh, the camera guy.
Oh, it was so
That's the
good.
one bad thing about being live is there's a camera guy on like at least 2 sides, if not 3.
That's right.
And plus there's a photographer. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Just ram. It looks like Kylan King is just ramming it right in the gut. Oh, this is her signature move, Red Velvet, where she stretches out as far as possible while like putting her foot right on the person's throat. Glad you got that shot because she does that pretty much every match.
Look at her eye. Her eyelash is falling off.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
There were a couple like Melina, her eyelash was off almost the entire time.
Oh, it would have drove me nuts. I wanted to go up there and fix it for her.
Yeah, we got a lot of this one.
And we got CC Mental getting in the ring.
Look at this submission here with Red Velvet. She's actually off the ground, which is really weird. It's an odd submission hold. Uh-oh.
Oh, the pile driver. And, they did these moves that are all, I don't know. They did moves like that. Those are real wrestling moves to me. I don't know. They banned them and they're not allowed to do them in WWE anymore because it's so sanitized. But
there was 1 or 2 pile drivers that night. Yep. At least a version of them.
Oh, my God. What match was it? They did I can't remember what you call it. Death Plunge Driver, Dead Pearl Driver. Oh, it was quite a bad. They did it some friggin' slick too. It was a great. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I like the stretching to get that tag.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a great picture right there.
Nice action shot.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, like I said, the Hex ends up winning this match. I'm trying to see if we have the end of it.
I was running out of
oh, that's right. You were running out of battery, weren't you?
So I had to limit what I took pictures of.
You must have limited after this match.
Probably when they did, the final one when they had all 10. That's when I had to really. And the guy sitting next to me was so nice. He's like, "Do you want to come over here?" Because I was like, because they would land, like they throw them out of the ring, and they were like right there, but it was in the other side.
Oh, okay.
So but I felt weird, so I was like, "No, thank you." But I should have done it. It's been rude.
So that's pretty much that match. I think the next one was for a championship, wasn't it? Impact.
Yep. Here's this. Is this the next one?
Camille versus Layla Hirsch.
Layla Hirsch. That was the next one, right?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Was it?
There was a lot going on.
Talk about David and Goliath.
Yes. And there was a lot going on outside of the ring, too.
Yeah. Her, evidently, she has a boyfriend who's a wrestler. The tall one. What's her name? Camille, because there was 3 guys. One was Nick Aldis. He was dressed up. I think he had his belt too, didn't he?
Yes.
I think so. And there was 2 other guys, and one of those other guys, when they were out in the ring, Camille went over and they kissed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Those 3 were on that side, and then there was a guy off to the side who was yelling at him. And at the time, I thought it was just I thought it was just a guy in the crowd because someone came out like this big guy was kind of pushing him back, and the 3 wrestlers and this guy were going back and forth. And then I didn't realize that the guy next to us said, "That's his last name is Murdoch." I can't remember his first name.
Oh, Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah, and I said, "You mean Dick Murdoch's son? As related?"
No,
they're not.
Trevor Murdoch is not his real name. No. I'm
okay.
quite sure of that. I should double check it, but
Now, did you see that picture you had up before? He was holding
Oh yeah.
in the brown right there.
oh yes,
That's the belt, the original belt.
the
From
original
like the
belt. Yeah,
30s or 40s, the women's championship.
It was tiny.
yes, it was. I noticed that too when he took it out. I said, "That's not going to go on any of those women,
No,
except for maybe her."
no, it was small enough to go around her leg. I'm telling you, it was tiny.
Yeah, I don't know how they had such a small belt, but here is Hirsch. What's her first name? Layla Hirsch.
Layla Hirsch from Moscow. Like, how does somebody named Layla Hirsch?
Yeah. But she ended up, I mean, I don't know if you can really tell it there, but I mean, she wasn't much more than 4 feet tall. I mean, she was really short.
I kind of looked at. Tell me, you've looked at this same way. I assume the ropes are the same height.
Well, you know what? I was wondering because between her and there was someone else there who was maybe even shorter than her, and they were still about a full head over the top rope, and which is about what Alexa Bliss is.
Right.
But they look shorter than her because she's supposed to be 5 feet tall, unless she's smaller than that.
That's pretty wild.
But I don't know. So I was wondering the exact same thing, Pete. I was like, are these ropes the same height? Because why do these women, just from where their head landed, they're the same size as Alexa Bliss? But I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're much smaller than her.
Wow.
And this poor woman, I mean, she could barely move. I don't know why she was there.
Oh, the ref?
The ref.
She was getting tossed around a little bit too.
She was so old and she could barely move. I felt bad for her. We saw her after the match and she was fine. But yeah, look, that's the belt. They couldn't possibly have worn that back then.
I don't know.
Your waist is like a 20. But I forgot the name of the woman that was. It's a famous wrestler. She was champion for like 30 years or something crazy.
Fabulous Moolah.
No, it was before her.
Oh, Mildred Burke.
I think that's it.
Mildred Burke is who they said had that belt originally. Yeah. That woman right there was ominous.
She kind of reminded me of Ivan Drago on Rocky 4.
Yeah. Brigitte Nielsen, right?
Yeah. Jeez. She was tall. It's just funny watching this match because it's so lopsided size-wise, but they put on a good match. I mean, Hirsch ended up taking it to her quite a bit. So it ended up pretty.
You know, she dominated her for a while. Camille dominated Hirsch. Hirsch sort of made her way back a little bit. And anytime that a wrestler can give you the impression that there's a chance they could win, they've done their job. Because I really didn't know who was going to win. I mean, once it was over, okay, it sort of made sense. But Hirsch, man, she was good, wasn't she?
Yeah, and that's what I like. There are certain wrestlers who are undersized, and I look at them and I'm like, I don't believe anything. Like, I don't believe you could win anything.
Right.
And there's other ones like as far as females, like Hirsch here, she did really well. You know, when they first came out, I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, the other woman's literally like 3 heads taller than her. But she put on a good match, and by the end, I was like, oh, maybe she will win.
Look at that picture right there, though. Hirsch's legs are bigger than Camille's.
They are. They're thicker. Look at that.
She was built like a.
She was a powerhouse.
Yes.
And you know what I liked about them? What made it believable, and maybe we just don't see it on TV, is when they were hitting. I mean, they were perfect. Like when they were doing their kicks, you know, like running kicks, they were pretty high and they were pretty powerful. So we could see it.
Here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great picture of that. That was right in front of you guys.
Yeah. There's another one. Did you get the other one?
We were like in the middle. So this is just off to our left.
Wow.
That's a great picture.
Yes.
Look at there's another one, I think right before it or right after it. Like, look at her neck right there. I'm like, oh. That's why I was like,
Oh, it looks so painful. Crunch. But yeah, that's when at some point during this match, that's when the other 4 wrestlers got up and they were yelling at each other. That made for some excitement.
You know what I want to ask you, Papa Pete?
Yeah.
So, like, we were watching this live, and remember how I said that it drove me nuts when they would get aggravated because they're not pinning them down? Like, you know, when they do that fake, oh my gosh, why didn't... Yeah. Did they do that this time around? Because I didn't notice it.
Not really. No, they just went right back at it. There's a couple times pin, they kick out, they throw them over and pin them again, you know? And, no, it wasn't the exaggerated, oh my God, how did I not win? Which you see in every friggin' WWE match going now, you know?
Right.
Yeah, there was one where one was aggravated, but it was normal. It was like she was pissed off. It wasn't this throwing a fit because she couldn't get the pin.
Right.
It was more believable.
Look at this picture. She's got both of her arms pulled back.
Wow. That's a good picture right there, too.
Well, actually, that's her front, so she's pulling it forward. That's interesting.
I really think, like, seeing this and watching it in person, you can see that they really work hard. I mean, I know they've got to be at the gym every day. They've got to be, you know, because it was spot on. Their form was awesome.
Remember, so it was this match right here. So we're looking at it from our view. If you go to the left, like the far corner, if you go left and then back, at one point these two are outside the ring, and Camille picked up Hirsch, and we could see her pick her up, but we couldn't see what happened. But she took her and she just swung her, and she ran her into the steps.
Yes,
but I don't know if they showed that on TV.
They did,
but we couldn't see it, but we heard it.
Oh,
and it was so cool because she swung her and you heard the big thud, and we're all like, "Oh man!" It just sounded terrible.
It did show it on TV. It was quite a little move, to be quite honest.
Some of these women, when they picked them up and would throw them around, it was like they were nothing, and you know that it's got to, you know, you've got to have some strength to be able to just toss them like they're a rag doll.
Wow. Yeah.
I
wonder how much that Hirsch would weigh. I bet she doesn't weigh 140 pounds.
There were some bad falls, like a couple of them when they were doing like a suplex, or they were landing like more on their neck, and I was like, "Oh man, that's got."
There's a lot of German suplexes. Oh, that right there, Hirsch. Actually, she did the German suplex on Camille 3 or 4 times, didn't she?
Oh, 3 in a row, I think. That's right.
Yeah, as they said, tribute to Eddie Guerrero, the Three Amigos, right?
That's amazing. She was able to pick her up.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not heavy by any means, but she's tall and she's looks pretty rock solid. I can't imagine. I know I couldn't lift her up. That's for sure. Oh, there you go. There's an arm bar.
Yep. Wow.
Let me skip through here. Let me see if they. Is that at the very end?
What are you looking for?
Over.
I'm just seeing if there's there's Nick Aldis. See him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get those guys in the background because there was a lot going on back there.
Oh, this is when they see Trevor Murdoch at that point. Let me skip forward and see.
It's great.
Wait. Okay, so the final match. Hold on. So the final match is the 10-woman.
Right.
I guess that's the first one we took. What's her name?
Yeah, because she was just taking her time.
Lady Frost.
That's it.
Lady Frost.
Lady Frost.
Okay, so in this, Pete, it was Chelsea Green, Tui Lin, the girl from St. Louis. It was Bianca Corelli, Debbie Malenko, Lady Frost, who you're seeing, Jamie Senegal, Genocide, Kira Hogan, who I think is fairly popular, and then my favorite name of the night, Masha Slamovich.
Masha Slamovich. I remember her too. But we're missing one. What was the other one? The last one?
Thunder Kitty.
Thunder Kitty. Now, you might not, I don't know if they announced like this, but they're on the pay-per-view. If you watch that, The world's only 100-year-old wrestler. They were saying she was 100 years old in their wrestling.
Oh, wait a minute. Who was that? There was somebody old in there, yeah.
That was Thunder Kitty.
Oh, that's that one. Yes, that was her. Because you were saying, you were like, what are we back in the, she looked like.
I said, was she a time machine? She just showed up in the 40s? Her outfit looked like she was in the 40s.
She was out right away, though, too. She was,
she was the first one to lose, wasn't she? But
so it was funny. So this is actually, I don't know, what, maybe 4 women into it. It was like a Royal Rumble where every 2 minutes a new person would come out.
Yep.
But you don't throw anyone over the top. Everyone has to be eliminated by a pin or submission.
Right.
So she came out and she just didn't go in the ring. She just hung out by us for a little bit.
Yeah. She was over by you guys. Well, she's right there in front of you.
Yeah. And there were some people next to us saying, "Get in the ring." And then I was like, why would you get in the ring if you don't have to?
Yeah.
That's right.
So here's Chelsea Green up front.
Yep.
And there's Genocide in the back. Genocide. And then there's that Terrell.
Did you see Taryn Terrell there in the picture somewhere? Oh, yeah.
By her knee.
Right.
This was a really cool match. Oh, there she is, Taryn.
They were actually just walking by each other, giving each other the stink eye for a little bit.
I have no idea who this person is with the wig.
I couldn't figure it out either, but they were large.
She's a he.
Yeah, I got that.
And I will tell you, look at her butt, though. It looks awesome. It's padding, but it looked so awesome.
Yeah, that's a fake butt.
She really impressed me. That one I liked. That was a dive.
That was Lady Frost. When she finally got in the ring, I found that she did some friggin' pretty amazing moves.
She did. She was diving in. That was awesome.
I'm pretty sure she was in. Wait, is that Kitty girl? That looks like an old outfit.
Where? No, Kitty had like a. No,
that's
Kitty.
Debbie Blanco.
Yeah, Kitty had like a Bam Bam outfit on.
Thunder Kitty.
There was just so much going on in this match. It was interesting to see that they all had to be pinned. Oh, here you go. Chelsea Green with Genocide outside.
And here's these kids all lined up. Do you see them in the back?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where they came from. Those aren't even seats. They just got everyone.
They just showed up. I don't.
Well, that's a good shot of Chelsea Green. Now, I've never seen Chelsea Green wrestle before. I was really impressed with her.
So, where'd she come from?
Let's see if it says. Wait. She's Canadian, Pete.
Holy cow.
Canadian professional wrestler, stuntwoman, and model signed to Impact Wrestling.
Well, there you go.
She also makes appearances for NWA and Ring of Honor. And it says she's worked under WWE under her real name, which I guess is Chelsea Green. I don't know.
There's Thunder Kitty. If you always wonder what Thunder Kitty looked like.
I told you she had a Bam Bam outfit on.
Yeah.
And those tube socks.
Good God.
Maybe in the hundreds. When you look at her face, she looks like she's probably like 38 or 40. But her outfit's 100 years old, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. We're only a 100-year-old wrestler. Oh, yeah,
look at that. That's a great. There's 4 people. There's 2 on top.
Wow.
Yeah, they had some big moves, like
they did
some flying moves like that.
That was so cool.
You know how all the rings, the mats, they have that little bit of padding, and then it's like, I guess, what is it under? Just wood? I'm not even sure. Yeah,
basically. Yep. Plywood.
But the rings, I didn't even notice, but it kind of it kind of like goes down a little bit into the middle.
Yeah.
Just slightly. So, but when they were hitting, just the sound, it was so painful.
I've heard somewhere that they put microphones underneath as well, so it resonates through the speaker system too. But was there much of a speaker system there? Because I'm going to tell you, on the pay-per-view, you couldn't really hear the announcer, like the ring announcer, very well. You could hear the you could hear the play-by-play, no problem. That was directly linked in, but you weren't getting the like the public address where they're announcing the wrestlers coming in.
Huh. Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Fine. You can hear it fine?
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's Chelsea Green beating Tootie. Is it Tootie Lynn?
Oh, yes. St. Louis's own Tootie Lynn.
And here they are afterwards hugging.
Yeah, someone didn't like all the hugging that was going on.
If you look closely down here by the end of NWA in the mat, you see someone's weave.
Yeah.
Somebody's weave?
That was laying on the mat for half the match.
Things were falling off of those people like crazy.
See, look, you can see it by Chelsea Green's foot.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Somebody's hair.
But this was kind of the theme of the night where I don't know if we showed it, but on the tag team, on the third tag team, where the two that won got together, after that match, all four wrestlers kind of hugged and were raising each other's hands. And that was the kind of night it was. It was more of everybody was kind of there for each other type of a thing.
Well, and it came across that way because they were trying to do something special, which I believe they did.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's awesome. And I think, I mean, this is me being.
Oh, this is a great picture here.
But I think women cut each other down too much. So I think it's awesome that they were lifting each other up. You know?
That is fun. Yes, absolutely. Because, you know, the kayfabe's gone. Everybody knows that behind the scenes, these people are all, well, they're not all friends, but, you know, the heels and the faces doesn't mean anything. That's all the roles they're playing. But they're all trying to make it a better world for all of themselves and professional wrestling. And Jesus, I'll tell you this. I'll go on record right now and say that I watched that one, and we went out for dinner Sunday night. And I was watching it, and I had to stop before the Camille Layla Hirsch match. Okay, so remember I had downloaded, so I was watching it, and I had to leave. We went out for dinner, and when I come back, I wanted to watch it again. I wanted to make sure I saw the rest of it. It was the best pay-per-view that I've seen in several years. For example, a couple of the pay-per-views, the recent WWE is getting late. Okay, I get some sleep. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. And I never went back to it because I really didn't care. But I wanted to watch the rest of this one because I thought they did that good of a job. I loved it. I thought it was the best pay-per-view I've seen in years, frankly.
I wish we were going the next night. I thought that was I really liked it.
So here at the end, all the wrestlers from the entire night came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
They came out. You see Kong there. There's Power.
Kong, yeah, right on.
Even the one that wrestled really early.
I got a picture to show of that one too. I think.
So that's cool. That's our last picture, Pete.
Let's see.
So that was neat. No, it was more of it's kind of like a celebration of women's wrestling in a way.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and I think it should be because it was the first women's. You know, it was all women.
First all women's pay-per-view.
Right.
Even the refs are all women.
Yeah, everything about it. And I didn't realize it till right now, either till this very end, I should say, not right now, but till the end of the whole thing. I feel like that's Jazz there too, right? I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but right next to Chelsea Green, coming up to her is Jazz, who phenomenal friggin' women's wrestler. Just not the stereotypical diva. Who's in the house?
Mama C.
There we go.
That would have been fun. See, she should have came up. You guys should have came up and saw it.
I would have loved
Came
to.
down.
I would love to. Someday we're going to be able to do stuff like that again, and that would be awesome for that opportunity to point it out a little bit better. But I found it interesting the comment you just made, Celia, about how turn this off. The comment you just made that you wish that you had have had tickets for the next night, because it's kind of neat. Because I bet you 2 months ago, you want to go see wrestling on Saturday night and Sunday night, you probably would have said, well, no, not really. Is that right? Not true?
You're right.
That's what happened, because when I actually ordered it, I think during our show.
Yes.
We did. You bought we got talking about it. It's like Was that during this show or was it during a Go Game Go show?
I think it was during your show, this show, because you mentioned it, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go check to see if it's on, because my biggest fear was I was all excited. I checked into the beginning. I kept checking, nothing. And I was like, watch them come out, put the tickets out, and then I'll miss out. And half the tickets were already gone by the time I looked. Yeah. Maybe even more than half. So if I didn't get it that night, I would have missed out.
For sure.
But yeah, after I ordered, I told Celia, she goes, I said, they're doing the women's that night. We're going to go. And then they're doing the guys the next night. She goes, why don't you get both? I'm like, I don't know if I want to do both. I was like, that seems like a lot of wrestling. That seems fine. But yeah, Sunday night, I was like, I wish we were going to that match.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I didn't realize Ric Flair was going to be there. And I was like, I got to see that.
Very true. Very true.
And I still haven't. I've watched the first few matches of the guys. Yeah. I want to watch it all. And I definitely want to see Ric Flair come out and
I have it there. I'm going to watch it, but I'll be quite honest. I don't think I'll like it as much as I like this one, just because I don't know. Maybe I will, because I will see that effort there as well. But
I watched the first match, and the first match was crazy.
Really? Oh, you told me that already. There
were a lot of chairs and ladders involved in the first match, and
yes, sir.
And there was someone took a barrier, put it on top of the other barriers on the main aisle where they came down. Then they had this 20-foot ladder, and he laid, was it Tim Storm? I can't think of his name. He laid him out on that barrier, so he's, I don't know what, 5 feet off the ground, 4 feet. And that guy goes all the way to the top of the 20-foot ladder, does a backflip, lands on him with his stomach. It drives him right through, and the barrier breaks in half, and the guy's just laying there like, ugh. I was like, that was a big-time move. A flip off of the top of a ladder onto somebody. I think that was as good as anything right there.
Mama C is saying she was hooked after her first show. We went back in 2003 to Halifax, which was 2001, I think it was. And we saw, you name it, we saw them from 2001. Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Undertaker, the whole shooting match from that era. And she's seen a lot more than I have. She's seen the Ultimate Warrior, and she's seen Jake the Snake Roberts and stuff like that, which I've never seen. So, yeah, I think she's talking about when I got you to buy the tickets all of a sudden. You know, yeah.
I did do a Damn You, Go Game Go, Papa Pete. I think it was. Remember, I did that. One of you two or both of you all.
Oh yeah, when I said I bought the tickets.
That's right, you did too.
You wrote it in the comments.
I said, no matter what, we probably deserved it. Yeah, well, that's cool. So,
but then
I guess you've already answered the question: would you go again if they do it again, or if they do something else again?
Most definitely.
I would definitely, because, like I said, I wanted to go mainly just because it was basically a new wrestling at the Chase.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if they did it somewhere else, I definitely would go.
Right on.
And I know you know, but I don't think we mentioned the show. But after the show, we went and we stood in line. We got some shirts.
Okay.
And then we went to leave, and we went the wrong way actually, and we talked to somebody that was working there about which way to go. And he goes, I think you go this way, but he goes, I really don't know. It's my first day here. So we were walking around. As we're walking around, we see Paula Blaze, the wrestler we showed at the very beginning. She's just standing there, like with her luggage. I guess she's getting ready to leave. I was like, look. So we went up to her and said hi. And Celia said, can we get your, I don't think it was you or me, is what we said, can we get your picture? And
no, she offered it.
Yeah, she seemed more excited.
With
us than we were with her.
She was amazing.
Good.
She was just so happy to have someone come up, because she's still relatively new in her wrestling career. So
yeah.
So she probably doesn't have a whole lot of people showing up. She probably gets more people noticing in the streets from 90 Day Fiance than wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. She was like off to the side, real like just in the shadows. It wasn't even like she was like, come look at me. Right. And
she
that's
had a coat on or something. She was like all covered up.
Like a trench coat.
Yeah, and we have to get a picture. She's like, sure. And all of a sudden, like, boom, the coat came off, and she was standing there in her wrestling outfit.
That's cool.
I was like, this is even better.
And her hair was natural. It wasn't fake. It wasn't, and that's how I approached her. I was like, I want to tell you, because but the color. That's the thing is, you'd think that this is a girl thing. Mama C will get this. So you'd think that after having that much color done, and especially that bright, it would either like fade or be like ruined, like burnt or whatever. But it was healthy. Her hair was healthy and it looked beautiful. And I was like, I got to tell you, your hair looks amazing. And then her hairdresser was there and he's like, that's all me. One of those things.
That's hilarious.
But she was
great.
Was
her hairdresser, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, she was so like normal. She was not
more distracted.
She wasn't a diva. She was nothing like that. She was just so normal.
That is so freaking cool. Do you have that picture to show real quick?
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, put that up there. Got to show that picture. Got to show that picture. It's awesome.
It might be quicker if I just go to...
I started following you, Papa Pete, on IG, and I posted a picture, and she liked it. She,
right on.
Yeah. So it was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you'll have to look at that.
Do Canadians produce as many female or as much female wrestlers as America? Well, not as many probably, but there's been lots. Like we already talked about the new, what was her name? Kaylin Green?
Chelsea Green,
Canadian. Gail Kim, star of the show in one aspect, Canadian. And then, of course, go back, Trish Stratus, Natty Neidhart. Oh, Natalia.
I mean, if you look at the size of the U.S., the size of Canada, Pete, I think that Canada might produce more wrestlers. Just, I mean,
per capita, I guess you say, yeah, because we're basically it's simply put, it's a tenth. It's a tenth. We're the size of California, population wise. We're so yes, Born Distracted. There are tons of great Canadian female wrestling, but Canadiens is how you spell the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens is IANS. Canadians. That's how you spell it if you're talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I had to put that in there for some reason because I don't like the Montreal Canadiens. I like the Boston Bruins.
Well, there's the picture of us, Pete.
Oh, there we go. Here it is. We'll get rid of that. But look at that. That's great. That's great. And, it's things like that that kind of make a show, don't they? I like things like that. Like, it meant a lot to her because she's trying to break into the business. And she obviously likes doing stuff like this because otherwise she wouldn't be on 90 Day Fiancé. And now I want to be a wrestler. And this is what she loves.
Yeah, like she did that first season of 90 Day Fiancé, but then they do. We're probably the only ones that watch the show, but they have all these spin-offs. There must be like 10 spin-offs of the show, which is crazy. And they keep bringing people back, like to start to show their life again. It'll be like, where are they now, or what's happening now, or something. And you just pick up with their life or what they're doing again. And so she's been on several seasons of this. And so when I saw her, we approached her. I wasn't sure if she'd be like excited or if she'd be more standoffish, but man, before we can get the words out of her mouth, she was like, whoop, off went the coat. And she's like, let's go. She was like, that's cool. She's like, should we stand over here for a better picture, or over here?
Right. Yeah, that's what she was doing. She goes, let's get a great backdrop. Because actually, to the right, to the right side, like behind Jeff, there's the street. There's like the revolving doors.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it was so cute because after this, then people started yelling inside saying how much they like her. Then they noticed who she was.
Oh,
they're like, I love you. So it did work in her behalf, but she was just so humbled.
That's cool.
I can't get over it.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, I have something I collect autographs. I love going and doing stuff like that. And I've met a lot of different people over my many years in entertainment, sports, blah, 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 blah. And there's just something special about the person who sort of embraces it. Mm-hmm. The best thing they can do if they want to have people like them is embrace stuff like this. And if she's doing that, that's gonna help her in the long run. Even though she's a heel, she's a freaking heel. Okay. right? What she was.
Yeah, she was with the bad guys,
So,
basically.
and here she is doing this. Like I can remember, buddy of mine now on Facebook. You know, it's like Richie Acevedo was a big heel, Cuban assassin wrestler. But even when he did his wrestling here around this area, when it came time to meet kids or talk to people and stuff, he was. Here goes Coco. He did wonderful things. Like he would take pictures, he would talk to you, and it just makes you appreciate them. And I don't know. It's like
I've never understood celebrities or sports stars that are rude to people. It's like I don't get it. It's like
you
have this, especially if they're really well known and they're millionaires. I mean, you have this great life. Why wouldn't you be happy? They're coming up to talk to you because they like you, not because they hate you. It's just weird.
Yeah. I think it was so neat. Even like
so true, Lance.
Right. I mean, to her benefit, you know what she did? Because I try to be standoffish, stay back and not be one of those doting fans. But she pulled us in, didn't she? Yeah. She got closer. She took me and pulled me closer, which I thought I was like, oh. Okay.
I think she was just as excited, or maybe more excited, that we were asking to talk to her and get a picture taken.
That's partially that, and maybe she just really knows what she's doing too.
Yeah,
she knows that
either way it works,
and people talk positively about her. And otherwise, I may not even remember who this person is from the pay-per-view as much as I'll remember it as being the person that you guys interacted with and how you spoke so highly of it. That'll mean more. That'll leave a bigger impression on me and maybe the people listening. That's why they'll remember this person, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's a rookie at wrestling, but unlike most wrestlers starting out, she's been in the public eye for years. I mean, I'm sure she's pretty recognizable. I mean, you see her on the street. If you watch the show, you're gonna notice her. Yeah. So I'm sure she's had years of dealing with fans, and she knows what to do, how to act.
I got to say, I'm not trying to be a downer, but I got to make a little. I just want to say, you talk about people who really love their fans and stuff. Of course, it really was hard hearing Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. I guess I heard about Ed Asner passing away, right? Because that was a person who was one of the most decorated people in the history of television. 7 Emmy Awards, so many friggin' fantastic movies, and. I showed you the pictures, right, that I have from him, sending him in the mail pictures, and because I love his work and I collect autograph stuff, and the notes he wrote on the pictures, right, and signs. That's a person who just loved his fans, and I don't know. The people that are like that, they stand out. They stand out. And that's what I see here.
It's interesting. I saw on Twitter somebody mentioned about Ed Asner. And they were saying, I knew him as Lou Grant. My oldest kids knew him as Santa Claus from Elf, and my youngest, knew him from Up.
From Up.
And I was like, hey, that is pretty cool when you can span several generations.
Yeah.
People do recognize you for different stuff. Like there might be some people that recognize you from Elf who, don't even know what Mary Tyler Moore show is.
Yeah. My God, that's so true. And I saw that too, and I can't remember who said it either, Jeff.
It's like
I don't know if you can notice it. Like from that picture, you can tell she pulled us back. Like we were standing forward and she pulled us back towards her. That's why we're leaning like that.
That's great.
Not a good angle for me, but okay.
Pete, remember, but you're not a big Seinfeld fan, are you?
No, but I know the show. Like
I don't Keith Hernandez
episode.
Do you know the Keith Hernandez episode?
I do. Oh yes.
Okay, so I love that because Keith Hernandez was one of my favorite players growing up.
Well, that's where he started, right?
Yeah. He's
pre Mets with St. Louis.
Came up as a Cardinal, won an MVP as a Cardinal, a World Series with the Cardinals.
Yep.
And when he got traded in '83, that was probably the first time I can remember being crushed as a fan. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! He's so good. And then you find out, well, basically, Herzog didn't like him, and he just wanted to get rid of him. So he traded him off for 2 lame pitchers.
I think what Whitey wanted, Whitey got, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, if we're gonna trade him, I don't like it. But if you're going to, then get some players in return. You got a minor leaguer who barely even made it to the majors, and a major leaguer who was done for at the time.
Yeah.
But Keith Hernandez says he has so many people who come up to him who are much younger than him, and they only know him from Seinfeld. They have no idea he was really a ball player. They just thought it was
That's hilarious. I should go up to him someday. Of course, being a Red Sox fan, do I really like Keith Hernandez from the Mets? No. So I would love the opportunity to meet him someday. He says, I remember you playing for the Mets, but I like him much better from Seinfeld.
The Cardinals, was it last year, I think? They put him in the Cardinals have a Hall of Fame, and they put Hernandez in the Hall of Fame. He got voted in. He's still to this day, he's a big fan favorite here. People just love Hernandez.
That's great. Where does he come back?
He did come back.
I don't know if he really can, because I think isn't he still an announcer for the Mets?
Oh, is he? Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant for the thing he came back for the ceremony.
Yeah, for the induction for the Cardinal Hall of Fame. Of course, he was back for that.
But I mean, like, you have players like they'll come back for the induction to Hall of Fame is one thing. But is he a type of guy like there's a lot of guys in Boston who don't necessarily live in Boston, but they're back there every summer. They're back there for a couple weeks. They're back there doing this. They're back there doing that.
He doesn't come back.
I'm not sure if he does or not.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely doesn't live here. I assume he lives in New York since that's where he works.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's always spoken highly of St. Louis fans. He had a great time here, and everybody loves him here.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. You get into the Cardinal Hall of Fame, you get the red Cardinal jacket, and then the first day of the year, there's this big celebration. They have the Clydesdales come out and they run around the stadium, the inside, and they bring all the players out in like either trucks or cars, depending on what it is that year.
Oh,
and
yes.
Each player from the current team comes out, but then they also bring out every Hall of Famer, every Cardinal Hall of Famer who was able to make it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there's usually several, although two of them just died in the past year, Gibson and Brock.
Yeah.
And so that's a big blow to that.
I forgot about Brock, but yes, I do remember that too. That's
Yeah,
two big names too. They're big.
Two of the biggest.
And he's a really neat guy too.
I think we told this story about Lou Brock, didn't we?
Oh wait, I met him, like him and his wife. But then when we first met him, well, we didn't meet him.
We kind of did. We were going down the highway, and there was a red Hummer. This was probably 20 years ago. This was a long time ago. There was a red Hummer in front of us, and I'm looking at it, and the license plate says HOF 85.
Cool.
I'm like, HOF. So you got to wait 5 years, and I'm thinking, who retired in like 79, 80? I was like, oh my God, Lou Brock's last year was 79. I said, that's Lou Brock. And so I got on the different lane, and we went up to him, and we're like parallel to him. And Celia rolled the window down, and she's hanging out the window going like this. And she's yelling, Lou. And he looks over, and he just starts waving. He's all happy.
And he's honking back. He's honking back at us. And I'm like, oh, you're so sweet.
That's too cool.
But I met him later before, I want to say 2017, right around there.
Okay.
I met him. And he was just so sweet, so nice. So his wife was a diva, like we have to have this and we have to have that. But he was just I think he was
he's
really neat.
That's cool.
He was always well known for being like one of the nicest guys.
What's that other guy's name, Jeff? That red.
Shane Dienst?
Yeah, I met him too.
Who was it?
Red Shane Dienst. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame and the Cardinal Hall of Fame.
I don't know who that is. Who is it?
He played second base for the Cardinals in the 40s and 50s. And then in the Red Shane Dienst is his name.
I call it Show and Dice.
Yes, but it's pronounced Shane Dienst.
And when I met him, he sounded so excited that I recognized him. He's like, "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah," but I didn't. I only realized it because of Jeff.
And then he was the Cardinal manager through all those great teams in the 60s.
Shane Dienst.
Shane Dienst.
Shane Dienst.
Yep.
I always call it Show and Dice.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I do know the name now. I know the person too. Yeah.
Really nice guy.
He just died, what, 5 years ago? A lot of the old Cardinals are dying off, man. They need some new Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that sounds like you guys had an absolutely amazing time Saturday night. I wish you could have gone Sunday too, but next time something like that happens, you're going to know. You're going to be all over it, right? So,
And you guys are going to come down and see us.
That day is coming.
Yeah.
Someday things are going to open up again. I've never wanted to go see, like, St. Louis has always been sort of a big rival for my teams being Boston, right? But and I'm always like, why would I want to go to St. Louis? Well, now I do all of a sudden, for Pete's sakes, want to go to St. Louis. And
see, if you time it right, we could do hockey and baseball.
Well, there you go. That's right.
You know, Pete, I actually attended a game at Fenway Park years ago.
Oh, did you really? Who'd you see? Well, the Red Sox, but
Red Sox. I can't remember. It may have been was it the Twins? I can't remember.
Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah.
But this was, I mean, I guess we were just married and we went there, and it was fairly easy to get tickets. And I guess this was right before that. Like, I don't think you can get a ticket within a week or so anymore. I think they're always sold out. But
okay.
But back then we got a ticket to go there. I was actually working. I was sent to Boston for 2 weeks for training. It was me and some other guy. I was like, we got to see a game at Fenway. I mean,
you can get tickets for Boston right now. Yes, it's been about 3 or 4 years. They don't sell out every game. You can get them the day before now. Yeah, sometimes it's usually very, very close, and it's not 100%, but it's not as sold out as it used to be.
It's like that here now too. It's they haven't been selling well because they haven't been playing well either. But
right,
I don't know, I think it's part of COVID. I don't know. But I went to Fenway, and that was one of the coolest stadiums I've ever seen. It was so neat.
It is neat, eh?
I
mean, was that Monster Days?
So old. I mean,
non-Monster Days, pre-Monster Days.
Wait a minute.
Was that Monster Seat Days? Since they've had the seats over the Monster.
No, this was just the green. It was just the green wall. There was no seats up there.
No seats up there. I'm telling you, that's an amazing spot up there on the Green Monster. I've not sat there for a game, but I joined Red Sox Nation so I can go in for batting practice ahead of time, and you can go up into the Monster seats while you're waiting.
I didn't realize that part of the stadium, it's basically a highway. Like once you if I could go, it's the stadium kind of is up against
Route 90.
Yeah,
it's
which you can't. I mean, only been there the one time. I didn't really notice it, like because we get there, it's in a neighborhood.
It is, yeah.
So
Route 90 is right there, but there's a street. I think Lansdowne Street is outside the Green Monster, and then on the other side of there's a block, and then it's the highway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but it was so cool because we went there. We got there early, and they Fenway's got those garage doors that they open up.
Yes,
on the outside. They were starting to open them up, and it's literally in a neighborhood. And the kids across the street saw it, and all these kids came running out of their house with baseballs. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. This is out of a movie or something.
It's growing up a lot. It's a lot of restaurants. It's just too cool though. It's all right there. It's all right there. It's a beautiful spot.
I mean, our old stadium, what's it called? Sportsman's Park. I mean, it's the same thing back then. It was It was in a neighborhood. It was blocks of houses, and then boom, a stadium. The experience at Fenway was great. I loved it. I thought it was just a neat stadium.
We'll get down there sometime, some year, somehow, some way. There's time, but don't wait too long because time goes by pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
True.
Very true.
Anyway, well, thanks a lot for sharing everything. I think maybe we've been an hour and 3/4. So much fun. What's going on tomorrow night?
You're coming on, aren't you, Pete?
I'll come on for a while, sure.
Because at the beginning
I don't need to, but I will.
At the beginning, we're going to do the unboxing because you sent Stuart a box and me a box, and so we'll both open those up.
Right on.
It's still out here, all wrapped up.
I sent. I was sort of surprised because when I sent them, they weren't supposed to get there till late next week, and all of a sudden I got notifications, bing, bing, out for delivery. His about 3 hours before I got yours, so it's like that was weird, but that's great. So
yeah, because it didn't show up until it was just before 6 o'clock our time.
Yeah,
it showed up.
Right on. So that'd be other than that, it's just an open chat though, too,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Go Game Go tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock PPT.
Papa Pete time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody in the chat for joining in tonight. So much fun. And we'll be back. I'll be back next week with a stream or maybe an interview with somebody or something. Jeff and I will be back in 2 weeks with another wrestling show. I've got a special plan for 3 weeks away, which I'll announce maybe next week during the show. But 3 weeks away, I've got it all planned out too. I've been talking to a friend of mine who's going to come on and join me, and possibly Jeff too. If Jeff wants to come on, I think he probably will. And yeah, it should be good for the next few weeks on here on the Papa Pete channel. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys, so much.
Bye.